Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host Scotty McCoy, and boy do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Shawn Wright, and he is the director of Night of the Axe. Hey Shawn, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad we were able to get this, interview scheduled, and I'm so glad that I can have you on. I can't wait to see this. This actually seems like it's going to be pretty good. I know I auditioned for it, and
Yeah.
I didn't get the part, but that's cool. That's part of being a filmmaker. But I definitely wish you the best of luck and success with this. I can't wait to see how this movie actually comes out. So. I guess the first question I got for you is, how did you become a filmmaker? What made you decide to do that?
Well, I sort of got tired of just the daily grind. Which of course I'm still in daily grind currently, but it's a work in progress. But yeah, it's just something I wanted to, I could build a career in, kind of like just work I could do that's not like, a regular 9-to-5 job. It's ever since I got into like horror movies. When I first got into it, I had the idea of making movies.
Absolutely.
It always seemed like a really cool thing to do because I've always wanted to like create things, but it's always something that I like put on the back burner,
Right.
But just a few years ago, I decided to put out, start with the 2 short films I did.
Yeah.
Just get those out there, and then I slowly work my way up to a feature, which here I am working on a feature.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that you dream of doing as a child, but realistically think you can never do. But then when you grow up and get older and that, you're like, you know what? I want to make a movie. Like,
exactly.
And you end up making the movie. And I mean, it's not, a lot of people take it for granted how they say how easy it is to make a movie. It's not easy.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. A lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of everything, stress. I mean, it's really, really difficult.
It's easier than you may think, but way more difficult than you may think as well at the same time.
Absolutely. So where did the idea of Night of the Axe come from? Like, what made you decide this movie and this plot line?
Well, so of course it came from the original short film Night of the Axe, which I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Talking about the short. But basically what happened with Night of the Axe, the feature, it was more, the idea is convenience, kind of, because I love slasher films, of course. I'm sure you love slasher films. Your name's Slasher Scotty.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I love slasher films, so I mean, I definitely am interested in making a slasher film, and a slasher film is probably one of the easiest horror films to make. So it's easy to make a really good one as well, because I mean, the most important thing about a slasher film is the kills, really, right?
Right, absolutely. Nobody cares really about the final girl as much or anything. They go to a horror movie. They don't care. They don't want to go there for the killer or the people, like the people in it. They want to go there for the kills.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the idea came from it's a great first feature concept. Okay. Just the idea of like this killer terrorizing young people. It's it's been done before, but you can do it over and over, and it's great every time.
Absolutely. So I guess people are wondering, what is Night of the Axe? Like, what is this movie? So can you let us know what this movie is about?
So basically, this deranged killer, he has a mysterious past. He's been locked up in a mental institution for most of his life. One night he just escapes, and he breaks out of his asylum, and he goes on a killing spree in this small community. And he ends up at this party, this high school reunion party, and he just kills them off one by one.
Nice.
And it's
that's really all you need for a slasher movie, really. Like, look how simple Friday the 13th, Halloween, like, they're simple movies, small budgets, and it really is easy to make a slasher movie. Like, a lot of people start with horror simply because it's the easiest genre to actually do and the cheapest to make, to do all of it. So did you guys run an Indiegogo campaign for this at all?
I tried. Well, Night of the Axe sort of came about because I had run an Indiegogo for a different feature I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do Swamp of the Living Dead, a zombie film, very Italian influenced.
Nice.
But that I didn't really come up with the funding I would have needed for that film. So I went back to the drawing board and decided I was gonna make a feature version of the short Night of the Axe. Right. So I didn't do an Indiegogo for Night of the Axe itself, though I did put some of the funding from what I got from Swamp towards Night of the Axe, and otherwise I self-financed that myself, Night of the Axe.
Nice. So I know that one of my really, really close friends, I went to high school with her, Amanda. You know where this is going. Amanda was in Night of the Axe. How was she on set? How was she like in her role?
She was a pleasure. She did great, did excellent work. I'd work with her again any day.
Awesome.
Yeah, Amanda is great.
Yeah, she really is, and she's loyal when you become a friend or even a colleague or whatever. She is a very loyal person to you. Like, she really is a really sweet lady. She really is.
I definitely sense that about her.
Absolutely. So, was there any specific inspiration in making this movie outside of just creating a slasher?
Yeah, I was sort of inspired by the look of the killer. He's like wears like a mechanic outfit and a bag on his head. Okay. So like I was influenced by like Jason from Part 2 and Town That Dreaded Sundown. I like the idea of a bag-headed, a potato sack or a pillowcase on your head. It's very simple and creepy.
Yes. Yeah, like that's one thing about Jason. He's known about his iconic hockey mask, not so much about the sack over his head, but I always found him with the sack over his head a lot more creepier, because there's something creepy about being chased by a guy in the woods with a sack over his head.
For sure.
Like, I really don't see, like, yeah, he's creepy with the hockey mask, but that's his iconic trademark. But like that sack, that really adds something to it. So I can't wait to see what you did with did you do anything different with him to kind of separate him from Part 2's Jason and the Town That Dreaded Sundown?
Yeah, he's definitely different. He sort of takes some inspiration from Michael Myers as well, as sort of this like supernatural kind of background. Nice. It's like sort of like you never really get the answer to what he is or where he came from. It's just sort of like hints of it. So yeah, he's sort of like has like a supernatural edge to him.
Awesome. So we spoke about earlier briefly about Night of the Axe being a short film. So what made you decide that this short film should become a feature?
Well, like I said, I needed a first feature that wouldn't be like crazy expensive,
right?
For one thing, and so I already had Night of the Axe as I've already done it once. So basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the short and expand on it by basically the feature is sort of like a prequel and a sequel at the same time, if you know what I mean. It's like it expands on what happened after the short and then what happened before it, and even sort of revisits one scene from the short.
Awesome. So I guess, was there any challenges in turning this short film into its feature? And if so, like what challenge, and also like what challenges were making the feature in general? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, making a film is always a challenge.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too difficult to like expand on the premise that much, but I don't know. It wasn't super challenging, like just making the movie. It was more of like scheduling conflicts and that sort of thing. You know how that works out.
Yeah, the scheduling is really the hardest thing, I think, especially in pre-production. It really is. It's one of because you have actors like saying they can be available these dates, and then something comes up and they can't do that date, and now you got to switch the whole thing around and still fit everybody that's working on that thing. And that's the biggest challenge. I hate scheduling. We start filming our movie in next weekend, and we already are having some scheduling difficulties already. So it's like, oh my god! But
especially especially when you're dealing with like work schedules and stuff like that too, because you know, I can't necessarily pay everyone. So it's a lot of volunteer acting and that sort of thing. So it's not like that, you know, they're passionate about their craft. They have other things to do too, you know.
Absolutely.
I can't like ask them to, you know, lose money for the money for the movie.
Absolutely. It makes complete sense. And that's a lot of people don't realize that there, like a lot of actors out there, especially for low budget films, they do work for nothing. And all you really need to do at most is really feed them in that. And the reason why they do that is because who doesn't want to be a part of a movie?
Yeah.
Like who doesn't want to be a part of a movie, especially something as fun as a slasher? Because I think the best part about being in a slasher is dying.
Yes.
Absolutely. So what was the best part about filming Night of the Axe and what was the worst?
I think probably one of the most fun times was we had a party scene we were filming. And at a certain point, it seems like it just became an actual party. It was sort of like I was sort of filming free form. I was just like, sort of, I tell them the party, like just, all right, I act like you're at a party, and I just sort of took the camera and I just sort of like shot random spots. And like, basically in editing, I cut it all together. So it's like, you know, it looks like a real party.
Absolutely.
I mean, there were a lot of fun times. Like, you know, the cast was great. Everyone was, you know, everyone had a fun time. Everyone was very funny and personable. It was like, you know, yeah, we had a great time. As far as challenge, I think the most challenging part was I lost my original effects artist. When like the day before we were supposed to film. So basically I had to delay the scheduling a lot because like I couldn't do effects until like 2 weeks after I got everything else done. You know, we originally scheduled for like 3 weekends, and then we're supposed to get the effects in during those weekends, but we ended up having to basically go effectless, and then I had to shoot stuff later on, like a few weeks after, when I found a replacement.
Oof, that's crazy. Yeah, that hurts, especially in a slasher movie, because I mean, you can't have a slasher movie without having an effects person. I mean, you can kind of do it yourself, but if you're not like really talented in that stuff, like it can be a challenge. Like a lot of research and a lot more stuff that would just delay it, you know, a lot more. So that's definitely a challenge, especially, you know, with a slasher movie. I mean, you can't do it with that one.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you want to have the most impressive effects you can have, especially you know, nowadays, because we've all sort of seen every you know, every slasher film from the past, so you want to at least sort of like try to impress people with the gore and all that fun stuff.
Absolutely. So were there any like memorable types of stories while filming Night of the Axe, like behind the scenes?
I mean, like I said, we had a lot of fun times. I can't go into too much detail of like everything that happened, because you know. But I mean, it was a lot of fun, especially like I said, the party scene.
Nice.
Everyone had a blast.
Awesome. And that's really what it's about. Like when you're making a movie, having blast, having fun, and, you know, doing all that. So last question I got for you is, do you have any other projects in the works that you'd like to promote to the listening and viewing audience, as well as any social media accounts?
So Night of the Axe is my project right now. So I'm not working on anything else right now that I can confidently say that I'm working on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I do have like follow me on Face Melt Features on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm heavy metal horror, heavy_metal_horror. Twitter, I'm at Face Melt Films. And while you're on the Facebook page, check out there's a link to the shop. I have a shop where you can buy the my 2 short films on DVD. Nice. And I also have some posters and stuff too for sale. And I even have a signed poster of the main cast members.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan. Do you have anything else? Anything you want to add that I may have forgotten?
No, not really. Just you know, thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. So if you want to keep updated on Shawn's, you know, whatever he's got going on after this interview aired, you can, I'm assuming you have an IMDb, you can check out his IMDb, or obviously check out Face Melt Features on Facebook and all their social media accounts. I'm sure they will be updated with any projects that they got going on, and as well as Night of the Axe, and where you can pick up your copy of that whenever that's available. But
Yes.
yeah, thank you, Shawn, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. You have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.